What's good, live channel? What's good, YouTube? We're watching the Poppy's Playtime lore video from Game Theory. So, let's see if the lore is actually scary or if it's just mid. Alright. Let's go.
What do you need to
this is
know
one that
before
everyone
Poppy
watches
Playtime
either
Chapter
way.
4? It's been a whole year since the previous chapter, and in the meantime, Mob has done what they do best, give it played the
I
stuff to.
don't really
Relationship
care
with
that much
Poppy
about
and a
this
release
part.
date. I would keep on subscribing with a good bit of
The
story
actual
so that
juicy
adultery of this forgotten. Playtime careful that the screen doesn't stare back. Playtime Co. was founded in the good old US of A in 1930. Quickly, it became one of the
What was around 1930? They didn't have colors on TVs yet, right?
most well-renowned toy companies in
that was
the
the 50s.
world, priding itself in
Maybe I'm
making
dumb,
toys
I don't know.
locally instead of overseas like its competitor Mattel. Yes, that Mattel, the ones who made
Tell 'em. Okay, what's being said here? This is a place where the children can. And the kids are not allowed to ask what happened to their old toys. Okay, so the toy never existed. Barbie, there's no
Barbie.
Okay,
I
so
know
Barbie
exactly
is
where you're
canon.
going with this, and I have to say, I really resent it.
all of this success was thanks to one man, the founder of Playtime Co., Elliot Ludwig. All he wanted was to bring joy
Elliot
to
Ludwig.
children.
Okay. He wants to bring
But
joy.
sadly, that noble goal meant that he spent all of his time at work, neglecting his own family.
Bro, why Five Nights at Freddy's is exactly like this, bro. Like he didn't even talk, like his wife wasn't even in the lore. Like, why do they just not care? Like, bro, you have a girl,
And his
bro.
wife had had enough, divorcing him that same
Oh.
year. Nevertheless, Elliot pushed forward, though
Bro got divorced. Hopefully he had a prenup.
for 2 decades, he struggled to figure out the key to innovating the toy-making world, until finally he hit a breakthrough.
It's been 20 years. So he was sitting there doing nothing for 20 years. That's crazy.
In 1950, Elliot created a toy that would change the world forever, Poppy Playtime.
A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers. She is the first doll actually able to have a conversation with a child.
Not only that, but
Imagine you're someone's parent and you got your kid chilling in their room or something, or just like, you know, vibing or doing whatever, and you hear someone talking to them out of a toy. You wouldn't, like, if I heard that, I'm throwing the toy away immediately.
her hair
You're getting
also
some
smelled like
normal
poppies,
stuff.
which had been used throughout history to help children fall asleep, making her an
That part's not as crazy, because I remember I had a, what's it called, Lotso from Toy Story that like smelled like strawberries. So like actual like
instant
sensory
hit with the
stuff isn't
parents.
that
How
crazy.
did Elliot achieve this
In the 50s it might have been crazy.
incredible
though.
feat? Well, because Poppy wasn't just a plastic toy. Elliot used organic parts to make her,
What's up with these games, bro? Like
allowing Poppy to
organic
really
parts.
seem alive. He just needed to add a quick no refund policy to anyone who tried to fix the Poppy doll themselves, just to keep it under wraps.
What does it mean, organic parts? Like, what does that mean? Someone please tell me, like in the comments or something, or like in the chat. If someone say something.
Thankfully, no one ever discovers this little secret of Elliot's. But Poppy sales alone can't keep the toy company afloat. So they release a handful of new toys, like Bron the Dinosaur in 1961, or Boxy Boo in 1966, though none of them really compare to Poppy in terms of popularity. But then, out of nowhere,
Wait, what were these characters' names?
Elliot's. But Poppy sales alone can't keep the toy company afloat. So they release a handful of new toys, like Bron the Dinosaur in Braun James. 1961, or Boxy Boo in 1966.
these toys look mid.
Though none of them really compared to Poppy in terms of popularity. But then, out of nowhere, tragedy struck. Since
Not surprised, bro. Like,
day one, Elliot had been encouraging his employees to adopt, to
grow happy, healthy kids. Okay, so he wants
bring
the
joy to
people
children who had
adopt.
none of their own. And he lived by example, adopting a daughter of his own. Finally, the family that
I have a feeling the kid dies. I don't know if that's messed up or not, but like knowing how these games are and like the lore about them,
family
the
man
kid's
had
probably
always
not
wanted,
gonna be
until
alive.
she passed away before
What I say? Passed away
his very
immediately.
eyes. There was nothing he could do to save her. All Elliot could do was take the biological knowledge he had and turn her into another organic.
You turned your daughter into a toy?
Poppy doll, just so he could keep a part of her with
Okay,
him
that's
forever, so
theory,
part
okay.
of her could live on. Little did he know how successful that experiment would be. Somehow, his daughter's mind managed to survive the process. Naturally, Elliot is shocked.
So they're possessed, just like the Five Nights at Freddy's one. And this game came out after Five Nights at Freddy's, so they probably know about the lore and everything. So they probably got inspired by it then, right? Or am I just like
By this, his daughter is back,
Just
living on
saying stuff.
inside this doll that he made. He couldn't let her fall out of his grasp again, so he builds a family home inside the factory storage.
so your daughter's alive again, and you put her inside of a giant box? Why, bro?
And
Like,
locks her inside a glass case to keep her safe. He even adds a passage leading directly to his office so he can visit her whenever he or she wants. With his family now returned to him, his passion
can
to
open it,
strive for innovation was restored.
But with so much ambition, he rose back up and continued to fulfill his vision for the Playtime Co. toy factory.
The first thing he needed was more people like him. Smart, capable people that could help him continue to innovate and answer the toughest questions the world had to offer. Like, say, how
so he needs more mentally deranged. Damn. He needs more mentally deranged people. They're like, oh yeah, let's put people's souls into toys.
was a child able to live on inside a doll, perhaps? But older minds are harder to shape. He needed people who still had some of that childlike wonder, and thus the Young Geniuses program was born. Elliot sent out flyers and posters similar
Whenever I think of stuff like that, I think of Kanye when he said empower. I think, yeah, power, when he's saying like childlike creativity, purity, and honesty. Like, you know, whatever you said, like that. Kids really be creative. Like they aren't like
to
aren't
that
just
of
like,
the
"Oh,
time
job,
period, trying to
money."
gather young
Like,
minds
if you have like a nephew or something, or like a little brother that's like young, like, bro, ask them like about their ideas
together to
and all
turn
that
them into the
crazy
scientists of the future, stamped with the logo he'd been using for Playtime since the early days. This attracted many young and bright individuals, including a brilliant, albeit slightly cold young man named Harley Sawyer. Harley was a peculiar character. He didn't care for his comrades, he hardly smiled, but
So we got Squidward.
one thing he
Right,
clearly
nice.
loved was science, and Elliot took a
So he's strange, doesn't talk to people, just hates people, but he likes
liking
science.
to this strange
This isn't a good sign, bro. Why do you like him?
boy. He may not have been normal, but neither was Elliot. He saw part of himself in Harley. This was the kind of kid he could take under his wing, mold into someone who could really shape the future, and maybe even catapult Playtime into the stratosphere of success.
Okay, I understand like what it's coming from though. It makes sense. I guess,
Unfortunately,
but-
that didn't quite work out. Harley never
Alright, yeah,
lost
I'm
his
not surprised.
distaste for others, and while he continued to pursue innovation, he was just doing so to push the boundaries of what could be done, not to help humanity like Elliot envisioned. That being
So he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't care about people. Yeah, that's why he doesn't talk to them. Makes
said,
sense.
Elliot didn't give up. He kept trying to change Harley's point of view, but
Bro, if you can't change somebody, then you just
No
can't
matter
change
how
them. Like,
hard he tried,
matter.
it was no use. Harley could not change. Not here anyway. And so Elliot makes the hard decision to kick Harley out of the program,
About time.
sending him home to the outside world to be around more people, hoping it will help
So you send him out to his kryptonite.
him to understand
Nice.
why they do what they do. Harley was destroyed by this news. His hero, Elliot Ludwig, was abandoning him. All he could see Elliot as was soft, pathetic, and short-sighted, backstabbing him because he was too much of a genius for Elliot to understand.
So self-proclaimed genius and doesn't like people is saying that he got backstabbed. By the way, if you guys don't like the pauses, like it's me reacting, like it's not me just watching the video. You can watch the video yourself. Like I'm reacting to it.
Though it didn't matter now. He had to do what he was told, and so Harley left the program, disappearing from the halls of Playtime Co. At least for now.
Oh, cool. He comes back.
Foreshadowing.
Okay, so it's been 40
As the years go
since
by,
this
more and
company's
more,
been
Elliot
around.
feels like it's not really enough to just encourage his employees to adopt. There are still so many children that need a home, much like his own daughter did. And while the Young Geniuses program was good by taking on young people so late in their childhoods, even they were already stuck in their ways like Harley was. So, in 1976, Elliot announces a new program, Playcare, Playtime's own on-site orphanage, where
What could possibly go wrong with this, bro? Literally everything. Like, yeah. This
he can
isn't a good
continue to bring
idea,
joy to
bro.
children and educate them in the ways they should go, creating a mass of young, brilliant minds that could help lead the world to prosperity. But while all those programs sound good on paper, and they were well received by the public, they were beginning to cost Elliot a lot of money. Poppy was the last big financial success, and that was over 2 decades ago. But he can't keep innovating in the toy world and run these programs on his own. He would need more staff. So he
Okay, so he just
hires
a lot of
people like
that-
Stella Graber to run the Playcare, Leith Pierre as head of innovation, Eddie M.N.
Stella,
Ritterman as the head of research, and Jimmy Roth as the chief marketing officer. Their first assignment?
I feel like these names are definitely going to be important eventually, so
Figure out how to stop the company from feeling, quote, old-fashioned. With all their powers combined, they try to get the company back on top, starting with the release of brand new toys like Candy Cat in 1979.
okay, that one looks good, so
They continue
it's
to
fine.
release toys into the next decade.
one
They
looks-
try
that one
Swap-Em-Alls
looks
that you
good.
could mix and match like Cappy and PJ Pugapilla. They also try Kick Me
Okay,
Paul for some reason, but nothing could quite match the success of Try Kick
The one on the right looks a little bit creepy.
Me
And then
Paul.
This thing, I don't even know what this is. This looks like one of those yoga balls you see at a gym that you just be bouncing on. Pause.
for some reason, but nothing could quite match the success of Elliot's original Poppy. That was until 1984, when Elliot had another idea. He went to the team, and shortly after, he releases the Blue Boy himself, Huggy Wuggy.
Why is its lips like that though? It would look like a normal toy if it didn't have giant, massive red lips.
Things
bro.
were looking up. Huggy is such a big hit with the kids, it basically becomes the face of the brand. In the eyes of the public, Poppy was a long-forgotten memory. Long live Huggy! Of course, he has to
Okay, so he's the new face of a franchise.
capitalize off of this success by releasing Huggy's pink counterpart, Kissy Missy, 1 year later. She too is a huge success, just not as big as Huggy, obviously. Playtime Co. is on top of the world at this point. It's almost like they can do no wrong.
So you come up with one brilliant idea, you just live with some of the money that comes in. You come up with another idea, and then you're just good. Like that is that really how?
Wrong,
the
but
toy
sadly,
business
over the
is
next
during
half of the
this-
decade,
this
their
lore?
profits once again decrease. Sure, Huggy was successful, but just like Poppy before, you can't sustain an entire company off of a single toy, even if he has a cute pink girlfriend. They needed something new, and one of them had an idea. What if you create a bunch of toys as part of a set? That way, kids
Okay, that makes sense. Cause I remember when I was a kid, I would get like giant sets of like toys too. So that one makes
Aren't
sense.
buying just one toy, but several. Enter the smiling critters in 9.
And they just look creepy. Like the white eyes, bro. The black hollow eyes with the white is not a good look, bro. This part doesn't make so much fun,
1989.
right?
Similar to Care Bears or Cabbage Patch Kids, these
Yeah, it does.
are small, cuddly toys with
If I ever saw anybody's kid with one of these, I'm burning that thing immediately.
big personalities, but each one is unique, and so you would need to collect them all for the full experience. This was the perfect way to increase the dropping sales numbers Playtime was facing. Plus, to really capture the same appeal as Poppy and her poppy-scented hair, these critters would each come with their own unique scents, all with calming effects. Crafty Corn smells like jasmine, Bobby Bear Hug like rose. But would calming be enough? Poppy's hair literally put children to sleep. That's what made her such a hit with the parents in the 50s.
I feel like it would be fine either way. Like if it smells good and it like has like some kind of effect to them, then it's fine. I feel like even if it just smells fine, like, you know, because most toys don't have a scent. If it has a scent, it's gonna do fine, I feel like.
They needed these smiling critters to do the
But not when they look like that.
same. So they get to work developing one more smiling critter. One with the advertised scent of lavender, a scent associated with sleep, but instead of actually using lavender, they would create a poppy gas that would
So we're gassing the kids. We're bringing it back to the 1940s with some certain Austrian guy, and we're just straight up gassing people now.
actively put kids to sleep, just like Poppy did. They put the smoke inside the purple cat and gave him a name that tied into his sleepy powers, Catnap. And
Okay, this is Catnap. He has a
just to be on the
giant
safe side, Playtime Co.
voice.
also commissions the creation of a Saturday morning cartoon featuring
Yeah,
this
that's
new
a good
cast of
idea.
characters, all begging Catnap to help them fall to sleep with his red smoke, showing
The fact that it's red makes it so much worse too. I don't even know what color I'd even want it. Red is not a good look though.
kids and parents alike that this is just what the toy is meant to do. Initially, everything is going according to plan. Sales for this new line of toys are great. They are flying off the shelves. Both parents and kids really seem to love these new adorable critters, except for Catnap.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
After a few weeks, doctors began reporting a rise in children suffering from intense nightmares that
Because you kids are getting gassed, bro.
all started after they received their Catnap toys. In Playtime's desperation to mimic the sleep-inducing
Do they
effects
still
that
got the
Poppy
no
had, they'd
refunds thing?
accidentally concocted something that, yes, put children to sleep, but also gave children horrible nightmares.
Yeah, they probably get nightmares just looking at the thing. Like, that thing does not
Thankfully
look
for Leaf and the
pleasant to
team,
look at that thing, bro. Like, you telling me you would buy this for your kids, bro? Any of these, to be honest. The fact that this is like, you know, purple and like, okay, the pink one, that's the fact that their mouths are so big though, like,
no connection was
It's
ever
not
proven,
good.
but they still needed to save face. They recalled all of the Catnap toys, and Catnap was removed from the Smiling Critters lineup entirely.
in the 90s. Okay,
The smart-
how old is the CEO now? He was starting this in like the 30s. It's the 90s now. So what if he was like around, like, let's say he was like 25 in the 30s, bro? Bro's like,
Smiling Critters disaster
85
put
now.
Playtime Co. in a bad spot. If they were going to survive the next decade, something needed to be done, and fast. And so, Leith Pierre put his head of innovation status to good use and came up with an unusual but effective plan. He hired a private investigator, Jared Lockhart, to track down former members of the Young Geniuses program.
okay, so this is when the other weird dude comes back then. So he had a weird idea, and he was like, "Yeah, let's get the guy that doesn't
Program
like
that Elliot had
anybody."
started decades ago.
Come back.
These people trained under Elliot. They were geniuses from a young age, and most of them had quite impressive careers. If anyone was going to be able to come up with an idea to save this company, it would be one of them. Sometime later, Jared arrives with the list, and when it lands on Leith's desk, there is one option that immediately catches his eye. Harley Sawyer.
Oh, boys!
That low-key scared me.
This guy was now certified by the American Board of Neurological Surgery. He was, by all accounts, a genius. And with Elliot using biological parts to make Poppy, a surgeon felt like the perfect fit. Leith presents this
So he became a surgeon? He went through all
idea
that
to Elliot
med
for
school and
final
everything
approval. And while Elliot
to
is
heal
hesitant
people
at
in school
first,
and
he does
everything.
remember that Harley was the brightest of the bunch back
He's not gonna like him though. He felt like he got stabbed in the back. It's not a
in the
good
day.
look,
And
bro.
maybe all these years away have taught him the lessons he was hoping he'd learn. Do it. With that approval,
Just do it.
Leith
Okay.
reaches out to Harley on January
Got it.
15th, 1990.
January 5th. Okay.
Giving him an offer to come and join Playtime Co.
Yeah.
once again. And strangely, despite the hurt Elliot caused him all those
3
years
days
ago, for some reason, Harley accepts the offer.
Okay, so he's like, all right, you know what, whatever, I'll come back.
Immediately, he begins showing the level of promise they were hoping for
Bigger
from this
bodies.
recruit. He sees the problems at Playtime Co., the public outcry, the declining profits, and he came up with an idea that would fix
There's
everything.
like bigger
Giant toys. We can increase our workforce and simultaneously decrease the number of lawsuits and people on our payroll if the people we have working aren't people. Put me in charge.
Alright, yeah, bro. I'm not letting some easy view bots into my thing.
Of
bro.
it, and
Get out of my
I
chat.
will save this company.
Leith makes Harley head of special projects, and together they begin hiring other scientists to help with the development of the Bigger Bodies Initiative. Some of them are
So, they're like, let's make bigger toys. Wait, did it say how?
And people. Put
The people we have working aren't. So they're saying let's make toys that can work.
me in charge of it, and I will save this
The way this
company.
thing
Leith makes
voices
Harley
is
head
not-
of special projects, and together they begin hiring
Alright,
other
bro.
scientists to help with the development of the Bigger Bodies Initiative. Some of them are fellow Young Genius alumni like Dr. Bruno White and Dr. Carmine McKay, but others are just young and eager biologists looking for their first big break, like the owner of the orientation notebook, PW. From here, the company
PW.
begins their experiments. Harley takes the new scientists to observe and study the Poppy doll that he remembered being in the storage bay from his days in the Young Geniuses program. He told them to use her as the blueprint to bring toys to life.
I am the cause. Being able to exist as a doll, it has killed so many people.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of murders because
Everyone works diligently to try and recreate the magic of this one Poppy doll. But after 814 experiments, it's clear that things aren't working.
So they went from let's make toys, let's make big toys, into doing whole lab experiments.
With simple
What
rats.
is
They
up with
need to
these-
try something
these
bigger.
games,
They
bro?
need to repeat what Elliot did. They need to use children.
So it's just Five Nights at Freddy's then.
Harley delivers the note to Elliot as one of his many updates on the program, but once again, Elliot is torn. Up until this point, these experiments weren't really all that bad. It was just a few hundred rats that suffered the consequences. But now, he had a choice to
Bro, this company is single-handedly making rats endangered, bro.
make. He'd spent his
I don't
life
know
trying
what
to
rats
bring
really
joy
do,
to
but,
children,
like-
to give them a home, somewhere they could grow and overcome the odds. Harley still couldn't believe this soft old man. What is more important to you, these children or the business you've spent decades
The kids, bro. You're making the business made for kids, bro. Like make
building, which
sense.
people rely on for their own families? Mortality is just a curse on humanity anyway. If we can figure this out, all these
He's saying this because he doesn't like
orphans
people
who
in
had
general.
suffered would never grow old or sick. They could live forever and keep bringing joy.
No one wants to live forever, bro. And mortality has to be the worst thing ever, bro. Like, I would hate. Like, imagine you're the only one immortal, like, ever, right? You're just, you're just chilling. You're living your life. You see everyone around you die. You can't really like get close because they're just gonna die. Like, and you're not gonna be like that. You can be in everyone's funeral. That'd be kind of cool, but like, it'd just be sad. The world can explode and you would still be alive.
To other children for centuries to come. It was not an easy decision, but this argument from Harley does sway Elliot. With that permission in hand, the senior staff of Playtime Co. set about building the Game Station, a facility designed to test the orphans' physical and mental abilities, pairing them with a specific toy, and if they were deemed ready, taken away for conversion.
They'd come for games and never come back.
So they would be like, all right, yeah, you over there, you like what's the purple one's name? Catnap? Yeah, we're gonna just combine you together. Like, is that what it is?
As part of this process, they utilized the red smoke that they made for the catnap toy. Where previously Poppy gels had failed, gas is a much more effective way of getting the mystical powers of the poppy flower that helped bring Poppy to life into the bodies of these orphans. They installed shower heads throughout the playcare to distribute the gas, but it wasn't the most effective solution. Kids could see them and what they were doing. They became wary of going to bed. An alternate solution would need to be found.
I would not want to be a part of this.
However, they had other problems to deal with. Over the last few years, there had been one employee that had been causing Playtime Co. a lot of trouble. They weren't ruining their plans as such, they were just a bit of an administrative headache. That man was Rich Lovitz.
Richard Lovitz.
Initially, he was working in the storage room, and he seemed to be on board with the general Playtime mission, appreciating the good this company did for the orphans. Sadly, though, Rich had a habit of losing his temper with management, and so
he just has a little bit.
He
of
was
issues.
demoted to the rejected toy room, which, as you might imagine, he took really well.
After years of being ignored, the company actually heard all my complaints. I guess my words must have really inspired them to take action, because the next day I got demoted down here to the freaking island of misfit toys!
So he had an anger problem and got.
Of course, Playtime Co. had to demote him again, putting him to work in construction in the caves beneath the factory.
Crazy.
Down here, in relative solitude, he was able to recognize his shortcomings and, with the help of his new supervisor, began to improve, even to the point of getting promoted.
Okay, so he gets a cool supervisor.
First, this seemed great for Playtime Co. A reformed employee. The system worked. That was until Rich continued being promoted and began learning what was really going on with the orphan.
Finally, someone with sanity. It's about time.
He cared for these kids. That was the one good thing he had going for him from the beginning. And so he begins flying off the handle once again. The problem was now he knew too much. He could actually cause a problem for Playtime Co. if he went to the authorities. They couldn't just fire him anymore. They needed to get rid of him. And with the Bigger Bodies initiative well underway, as well as Harley's requests for bigger subjects, they had an idea. They took Rich and used him as a guinea pig, turning him into the first semi-successful experiment. 1-0.
So they're like, oh yeah, you know too much. You're gonna leave. Because you have sanity and you care about the kids. And you know all about all this.
006, which they dubbed the.
You're gonna be an experiment.
Prototype. Not a toy as such, more a mix of mechanical and biological parts. It lacked the
Is this the thing that was in the Chapter 5 trailer that I just watched?
ability to speak, but was able to mimic voices of others to communicate. Playtime Co. was finally seeing success and removing a problem at the same time. But Rich, now 1006, wouldn't forget what had been done to him.
Yeah, he still has his brain.
Nor
so
what they were
still
doing to
knows
the
what they're
orphans.
doing.
He just needed to bide his time and wait for the right moment to strike. Playtime Co. continued their development of the
I feel like you made him more dangerous. If anything, he's a metal. he's a metal dude now.
Bigger bodies, but they struggled to find the success they'd had with 1006, usually unable to reactivate their brains after surgery. That is when Harley decided to try something different. He decided to make the bigger body physically bigger, rather than just trying to match the size of the test subject. It flew in the face of all logic, but
So he says, instead of making them human size, let's make them 20
he
feet.
needed to try something, and the crazy part is, it worked. They created Experiment 1160.
Okay, so experiment 1006 is the prototype. 1160 is
And this discovery opened up a new world of possibilities for the future. At this point, several orphans are showing promise in the game station, although there was one that caught Harley's attention specifically.
So, bros, how is he getting the attention? It's probably gonna say right now, but like, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of weird.
Quinn
Biggie
Navidson.
type of-
He was a pretty average kid, except he had a strange obsession with removing the heads off of all of his toys. However,
makes it
Harley
strange,
didn't see
right?
this disposition as a weakness. It was something he could take advantage of, manipulate to
Take advantage of kids. It's genius. What's up with this, bro?
get his scores higher and make him a more successful bigger body down the road. Harley spends some one-on-one time with Quinn, convincing him that he understands Quinn better than most, and asking him to just simply apply himself at the next assessment. And next time, Quinn's scores did improve in most areas, although his intelligence seemed to wane a bit, but not enough to stop the inevitable. In August 1990, Quinn became Experiment 1166.
So we're just putting kids in toys now?
Yarnaby. He was strong, agile,
Not just kids, but you know, there's an adult too.
swift, but his intelligence still wasn't where Harley wanted it. He saw him more like a dog, which, while not ideal,
That's crazy. to
could be useful for protection. The more bigger bodies they made, the more things there were that could kill him and stop his progress. So Harley,
Yeah, they're just gonna turn against
they
him if
made,
they're
the
that
more-
big. Like,
more things there were that could
look at that, bro.
kill him and stop his progress. So Harley isolated Yarnaby, making Yarnaby loyal only to him. Around that same time, another orphan
So he's
named
only
Theodore
loyal-
Grant
He's only loyal to
Campbell
Harley.
began causing some mischief in the playcare, breaking into rooms, stealing files, even stealing a grab pack. When
YN.
questioned about it, he just said it was his friend that told him to do those things. The staff just assume this friend is of the imaginary persuasion, but in reality, it was very, very real. 10
Oh, okay. So this
006.
dude's- He's a monster under the kid's bed.
had found a way out of containment and was using Theo to help them escape. Once it had all the information, 1006 and Theo made a break for it. Though, due to Theo's inexperience, he accidentally overcharges the electrified grab pack hand and electrocutes himself. At this
Did he die?
moment, 1006 has a choice. Gain the freedom it wants or save Theo. It chooses the latter. It gives Theo over to the Playtime Co scientists and turns itself
Even as a metal thing, he still has like something to like protect the kids.
in to be
Gotta
locked
respect
away
that.
once again. Now, there is only one way the scientists are able to save Theo, and on November 11th, 1990, the bigger body
So we put the kid that electrocuted himself into this
Catnap
giant
was
thing.
born. Experiment
It's a weird looking
1188. He was put into the Playcare because he was able to release the red gas just
Why is his leg so big, bro?
like the toy, and the kids would, hopefully, be much less suspicious of this big friendly toy than a typical showerhead. Again, Playtime Co. was killing two birds with one stone. The Bigger Bodies initiative was now in full swing. Between Catnap and Yarnaby, Huggy was created, and in 1991, he was put to work as Playtime Co.'s new security measure, though his wandering eyes were noticed by
So we put, so that one's the security thing. So it's kind of like the puppet for Finds a
an
Freddy.
employee who wasn't supposed to know anything. Rowan Stoll. Rowan wanted to get to the bottom of what was going on and, over the course of a few months, began to figure out exactly what Playtime Co. was doing. When he threatened to leak what he'd found to the
Why are we threatening, bro? Just do it. Who cares?
public, Harley put his Bigger Bodies
Like, you see what they're doing to everybody. Just say it, bro. Don't be like, oh yeah, I have all this on you. Give me a raise. No, bro.
To good use.
Now, we need to start tailoring that appetite of yours to flesh. Get me an update on the situation with Rollstone.
That same year, another orphan, Marie Payne, began suffering from unwakeable.
So we're giving. Okay, so they said let's get all these kids in. You know, have them be geniuses, or just yeah. And then now
Nightmares thanks to catnap's gas, leading to the latest experiment we know of to date. Experiment 1222, Mummy Longlegs. She was violent towards the staff, but kind towards the kids.
Yeah, okay, so it's literally just Five Nights at Freddy's then, just angry about the staff and then nice to the kids.
Making her the perfect guardian for the game station. And by May of 1992, the game station is in its heyday. Everything is working as planned. But one person is still causing problems. Elliot Ludwig had put a picture up in his office that one of the kids had given him of the game station and Mummy Longlegs. But when he sat there and looked at it, those decisions that had led to this point, they began to weigh heavy on his shoulders. He still felt that Harley's pursuit of innovation for the sake of it wasn't right. But the rest of the senior team...
Yeah, you have sanity now. Congratulations. You had sanity before, now get it back.
...seemed to be all for him, and it was hard to deny that the company was seeing success.
Okay, that makes sense, I guess. Like, yeah, he's getting all the money for them, but the CEO or like the owner is like, yo, like this, we're actually doing something messed up.
Regardless, he knew he needed to put some kind of safety measure in place. Something to keep Harley in check, just in case his worst fears came true. So,
and then what, he's gonna find out and be like, oh yeah, and then just kill him or something?
He promoted one of the fellow scientists and Young Geniuses graduate, Dr. Bruno White, to become Harley's superior. Once Harley found out, he could think of this as nothing more than another betrayal from Elliot. And this time, he'd had enough. Elliot was too soft to keep things moving forward. He needed to be got rid of, just like every other problem employee they'd faced. One day, both the staff and the public were informed that Elliot Ludwig had passed away.
He was also getting old too. He was like, I don't even know how old he was.
But Harley Sawyer was the only one who knew the truth about what happened. Thanks to Dr. White's promotion, Harley's involvement in things slowly became less and less, leading Harley to become more and more frustrated and driving him.
So he killed the owner and said, yeah, let's just, he's still above him. So it was like
more and more insane, until one day he decided to take matters into his own hands. During a guided tour of the factory in 1993, fires break out in the theatre, causing casualties all across the facility. Obviously, Leith Pierre is furious.
Wait, why is there fires now?
Until one day he decided to take matters into his own hands. During a guided tour of the factory in 1993, fires break out in the theatre, causing casualties all across the facility. Obviously, Leith Pierre is furious. Now he has to clean up the mess, taking care of any potential witnesses. This is not the kind of publicity Playtime needed. He brings back their private investigator Jared to figure out who is to blame.
So now we're getting some actual detectives and stuff like that to figure out what's happening.
And true to his word, he gets them an answer.
Dr. Harley Sawyer.
After spouting rhetoric about one bad day
did he only figure out that it was just him that did it and not like what's going on?
Being betrayed by Elliot all of those years ago, Harley had finally gone full Joker and set the theatre ablaze, baptizing everyone in the flames that he was working so hard to save them all from with his bigger body's initiative. As Leith had suggested,
so that killed the kids too.
Harley needed to be punished, but he can't justify the usual methods. Harley is an undeniable genius, and it would be a shame to lose such a brilliant mind when they definitely still needed him. The bigger bodies, while alive, were temperamental and hard to control. They needed to keep perfect.
You make giant things that are like, they don't even like you anymore, bro. Like,
the process. This also meant turning Harley into a bigger body wasn't an option either, as he too would likely lose his mind. And that was when it hit them. Instead of turning Harley into a bigger body, why not turn Harley into a digital consciousness?
So they're making him into a computer?
They could focus all their attention on keeping his mind alive without the need for a working body. That way, Harley could still help them and guide the scientific process, but he couldn't physically cause any problems. It was perfect. By 1994, this plan is underway. The party line is that Harley is just out, maybe on a sabbatical or something. And in 1995, the new Playtime automated companion is up and running, ready to meet with scientists like PW. The system would end up being shut down after May of that year, but regardless, it was another success for Playtime Co. However, as we've seen time and time again, pride cometh before the fall, and this next fall would be the biggest Playtime had ever seen. Behind the scenes, while Playtime Co. had been dealing with Harley, 1006 had been...
Okay, so they burned it down. They put him into a consciousness, into an AI. And now
plotting. They'd been gathering all the toys together.
So, okay, and then the prototype is
and promising them the thing they all wanted, freedom. They formulated a plan to take back the factory from Playtime and kill all those who'd helped turn.
Okay, before this goes on, the only thing I know about is the Hour of Joy. I don't really know what it is. I know that it's like something crazy, because I heard on TikTok, it was like, would you rather do the Five Nights at Freddy's, do the Hour of Joy, or something about like Bendy and the Eat Machine? I don't know anything about Bendy like at all, so we can watch that.
Turn them into monsters. They called it the Hour of Joy, and on August 8th, 1990.
Bro, look at the way you look.
Monsters. They called it the Hour of Joy, and
they're just, they're just minding their own business. And then look at the way the bro comes in and just snatches them.
On August 8th, 19...
Who is staring at him? They're all in panic. They can't even react fast enough. This dude's just chilling. These guys don't even know.
95, they executed that plan. They attack everyone.
This is the long legs one.
Scientists, tour guides, construction workers. It didn't
every adult
matter. They were all responsible. They all needed.
Is that a bunch of poppies, or am I just tripping?
To die. The toys drag the bodies into the depths and slowly consume them to satiate their hunger.
Imagine, because they said it was all the workers, imagine you had your day off and you come back and you're just like, what happened?
Only a small few managed to escape the carnage, Leith Pierre being one of them. Despite the insane loss the company was facing, he kept insisting Playtime Co. continue their work. He began and recruitment efforts for a resource extraction team, people that would go back into Playtime Co. and collect the
why is he hitting
efforts for a resource extraction team, people that would go back into Playtime Co. and collect the parts they needed to keep making bigger bodies. But eventually, the rising pressure from the public over the mysterious disappearance of the staff, their friends and family, was too much for even Leith to handle, and he shut down the factory for good.
So the game takes place in the 2000s?
Nearly a decade passed, and the Playtime Co. factory, as well as all that happened there, had largely been forgotten. The world had simply moved on. But in 2002, deep in the bowels of the factory, something or someone was coming back online.
Where am I?
This is probably the AI. Right?
Harley had awoken from his mysterious slumber. Ironically, just as he'd always stated, his conversion had actually saved him from death, unlike his former.
So you were trying to get rid of him, put him into an AI, all of that happens. And
colleagues, he realized the opportunity he had. There was no one left to stop him. His plans could continue. He could save the rest of humanity from their mortal coil and convert them all into living, eternal toys. So he began hacking into the rest of Playtime Co.'s systems, taking control of all communications that were coming in and out of the factory. His plan
Imagine them having a Discord
would come to fruition. At the same time, the bigger bodies also remained in the factory, waiting for the prototype to save them as promised, but food supplies were running short. Some of them began to lose their faith that salvation would ever come. Dog Day was one such toy, and 1006 quickly made an example of him. This type of threat, however, wouldn't work forever, and 1006 knew that. It needed to make progress. It was still trying to create its perfect body, but he just didn't have the know-how. Rich was just a simple construction worker. Sure, he could do some cool things with tech, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's not that smart.
biology was a whole other ballgame. It needed help. So in 2005, it writes a note saying that the employees that went missing were actually still in the factory, waiting to be rescued. And it sends it to the only person that's not only around to hear it, but would actually care enough to make the trip. The player character, PW. PW didn't show up
So we're playing as the dude that just straight up just doesn't have like a real name, just PW.
for work on August 8th, 1995. They were still alive, and more importantly, they actually cared about their fellow employees. If there was a
So we have someone that has sanity, someone that's actually chill.
chance their colleagues were still around, they needed to help them. Now, as a former employee, they knew their way around the factory. They knew where this flower was that they'd been pointed to. They just had to get there, while also trying to avoid an unpleasant reunion with one of the many bigger bodies they'd helped create.
Okay, so this is chapter 1 then.
Huggy Wuggy. PW finds Poppy behind the flower, in the same room she always was. Although
Only thing I know is chapter 1 because everyone was like so hype about it. I know there's more hype about like the other ones too, but I never like watched any gameplay or anything. But I know about chapter 1.
there are now messages around the room
I'll still play it, but like I probably won't die because like I know like how to like escape and everything.
warning them not to trust her. Regardless, once they open the case, Poppy agrees to help PW escape. See, she's not that bad at all. Only Mummy then shows up and kidnaps Poppy. After beating all of Mummy's games, PW returns to Poppy and takes her to the train, only for Poppy to now change her mind and stop PW from leaving.
I'm sorry.
So you were trying to help him escape, and then you're like, actually, nah.
I can't
never
let you
mind."
leave.
They really should have trusted the signs. The train crashes in front of the playcare, and with some surprising help from Poppy, Kissy Missy, and their ally Ollie, who may or may not be the prototype mimicking a child's voice to trick us, PW makes their way through the playcare. Together, they defeat
So the prototype can mimic voices, bro? And, okay, wait, so...
child's voice to trick us.
Okay, so that might be whoever Ollie is. I
PW
don't even know
make-
who that is. They might
Makes their way through the playcare. Together, they defeat Catnap and begin the long trip down into Playtime's prison. But Kissy doesn't make the trip. She is killed by something on their way down. And all of this time, Harley has been watching through.
So, yeah, the AI has just been chilling, just watching everything. Okay, so... The girl version of whatever his name is.
The security cameras, making his way down to the prison just a bit ahead of them.
Is Huggy Wuggy also pretty much dead? Because, like, in the first one, I know you, like, throw a box and then he, like, falls down.
To reunite with Yarnaby and lay whatever traps he has in store for us down in the depths, along with the nightmare critic with security cameras, making his way down to the prison just a bit ahead of them to reunite with Yarnaby and lay whatever traps he has in store for us down in the depths, along with the nightmare critters,
These guys are...
Pianosaurus, and a toy made from Play-Doh, Doughy the Dough Man. And that, loyal theorists, is the entire
Play-Doh
timeline
canon.
of Poppy Playtime so far.
crazy.
Boy, this franchise is getting big. This is probably the last time I'll be able to do an entire timeline in one video. I mean, look at that runtime. Though, I have to say, it is refreshing that outside of a few bits of connective tissue, most of what we've talked about today are either things Mob has told us directly, or we have a lot of evidence to support. The only real details that are super speculative are things like when the Young Geniuses program started.
I want to know how old the dude was that started
or
it.
why
Like,
Elliot agreed to start using children in the experiments. We said that the Young Geniuses program started in the 60s, but it could very well be the 50s based on the logo. Maybe they were even the ones that helped make the first Poppy dolls. But so long as Harley joins the company early, leaves, and then comes back to cause a bunch of problems, it doesn't really matter which decade it takes place. The same thing goes for Elliot's change of heart towards the orphans. We've got no evidence saying why he made the decisions he did. We may discover his reasoning in the future. It's just not going to change the order of events because we have set dates of when things
okay, that makes sense. Okay, so they're not really
have to
completely
happen.
sure
But
about
there you
the
have it,
thing.
friends. Everything you could possibly need to know going into Chapter 4. And I don't know about you, but now I'm even more excited to see where all this goes. Who will our allies be? What is Harley's big plan? Will I have to rethink the identity of the prototype for a third time? I'm sure all will be revealed
Oh, they're not even too sure about what the
in a few
really
weeks.
is.
In the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching.
World premiere on Game Theory.
Today we end the torment. Now
Alright, well then. That was something. Yeah. Let's get out of that.